The sound that wakes me isn't loud. It's a soft click, like something settling into place behind glass. When I open my eyes, the room is still dark, but my phone is glowing on the floor, recording. The camera is pointed at me, but what makes my stomach twist is the reflection in the mirror behind it. My reflection. Moving a second too late, blinking after I do, staring at me like it already knows what I'll do next. I don't remember picking up my phone. I don't remember hitting record. And when I lift my hand, the reflection doesn't lift hers. It just keeps filming. A chill fills the room with the kind of quiet that feels like someone listening too closely. What if your reflection kept recording after you left? And if it did, what else has it been saving that I never lived? I keep staring at the video on my phone, hoping the glitch will explain itself. But every time I replay it, the same thing happens. I'm lying there asleep, and in the mirror, my reflection is awake, standing at the edge of the bed, like it's waiting for me to notice. The more I watch, the more it feels like something inside the recording is aware of me, watching it back. I try to tell myself it's just a shadow or the camera warping in low light, but my chest tightens every time the reflection tilts its head. I call Evan, but I don't tell him everything, just enough for him to hear the fear I can't hide. He jokes at first, but even he goes quiet when I mention the reflection moving before I did. And suddenly, I wonder if my reflection is awake when I'm asleep. Who's dreaming for who? Evan calls me back almost immediately, asking if I'm okay, but his voice feels far away, like he's speaking from another room inside my head. I tell him I just couldn't sleep, that I saw something strange, but before I can describe it, the mirror behind me creaks softly. I don't turn around. My throat tightens, and I swallow hard, pretending I didn't hear it. Evan keeps talking, suggesting maybe I should stop doom-scrolling weird TikTok trends, and I try to laugh, but it comes out hollow. I look at the reflection through my phone camera instead of facing it directly. It's safer that way. But in the screen, Miralina is closer than before. Her face just inches from the glass, and I can't tell if it's leaning forward, or if the mirror is pulling her toward me. I decide to get up, just to break the tension in the room. But when I stand, my legs feel too light, like they're not fully connected to me. The mirror stays behind me, but I can sense it, like static pressing against the air. I keep my eyes forward and walk to the hallway, gripping the door frame harder than I should. For a second, I imagine Evan here, telling me I'm being dramatic, reminding me that mirrors don't think. But something about tonight feels like the first page of a memory I don't remember living. The hallway is quiet, too quiet, and when I step into the light, I finally look back. The room is still, too still. And in the reflection, Miralina isn't at the bed anymore. She's standing at the doorway, my doorway, and she's closer to me than I ever allowed her to be. I step back into the room because I need to know if I'm imagining this or if something is actually wrong with the mirror. My breath comes in short bursts, and the air feels colder the closer I get. I force myself to look directly at the glass this time. My reflection stands exactly where I expect it to, matching me perfectly. No delay, no strange tilt of the head, no smile she shouldn't have. Relief washes over me, but only for a moment, because when I lift my phone to check the video again, I see it. Miralina behind me. In the recording, standing just a step away from my shoulder, but in the real mirror she's still, frozen, waiting, and it hits me. What if the reflection I'm seeing in the mirror isn't the same one watching me through the camera? I don't tell Evan everything when he comes over, but he notices the way I keep glancing at the mirror like it might breathe. He sits beside me on the bed, scrolling through TikTok until he finds it. The memory game trend. The audio is strange. A soft humming that almost sounds like someone whispering under their breath. Evan laughs as it looks stupid, but the moment the hum starts, something in my chest tightens. The comments say you're supposed to stare into the mirror for exactly 30 seconds while the audio plays, that you'll see a memory you've forgotten. I don't believe that. but something in me wants to try. Maybe I need to know what woke me last night. Maybe I need proof I'm not losing it. Evan nudges me, smiling like he's trying to lighten the mood, but even he goes quiet when the audio glitches midway, like it's breathing in. We sit in front of the mirror like idiots, waiting for something supernatural to happen. Evan keeps joking, poking fun at the trend, but his voice sounds thinner than usual, like he's trying to convince himself nothing will happen. The audio starts again, that humming that vibrates in my chest. I stare into my reflection, focusing on every small detail. The uneven strands of hair around my face, the faint circles under my eyes, the almost hesitant way I breathe. 30 seconds isn't long, but it feels endless. At 15 seconds, the audio drops into a deeper tone, like something exhaling. Evan whispers that the trend is fake, but he sounds far away. At 25 seconds, my reflection blinks, but I don't. My breath catches in my throat. I try to move, but I freeze, watching my reflection tilt her head to the right, as if she's remembering something I haven't lived. The audio cuts out completely, but the video keeps playing on the phone like the sound is continuing somewhere we can't hear. Evan curses under his breath, leaning forward to check the phone. But I can't tear my eyes away from the mirror. My reflection is still staring at me with her head tilted, but now her expression is changing, softening into something almost nostalgic. It feels wrong, like someone wearing my face is reminiscing about a moment I was never part of. Evan finally notices and grabs my arm, telling me to stop, but something pulls at my attention. For a second, the reflection behind my shoulder changes. The room in the mirror looks brighter, like daylight, and behind Miralina stands a hallway I've never seen. A memory, but not mine. Before I can process it, the image snaps back. Evan pulls me away from the mirror, and for the first time tonight, he looks scared. Evan starts pacing, muttering that it's just a hallucination, that we're tired, that mirrors don't show other places. But I can still feel the warmth of that reflected hallway, even though the room is cold. I sit on the floor, trying to steady my breathing, but something inside me feels unbalanced. It's like seeing that place unlocked a door I didn't know was there. Evan kneels in front of me, grabbing both my hands, trying to ground me. But all I can think about is how familiar that hallway felt. How my reflection looked like she belonged there more than she belongs here. When I look back toward the mirror, everything is normal again. Dim lighting, still reflection, no strange doorways. But Miralina's smile lingers in my mind, subtle and knowing, a memory I've never had, waiting for me to claim it. Evan eventually convinces me to leave the mirror alone for the night. He shuts off the audio, tosses my phone onto the bed, and tells me to breathe. We sit together in the quiet, but it's the kind of quiet that feels staged, like the house is holding its breath. I try to explain what I saw in the reflection, but every time I describe the hallway, the memory feels sharper, like it's becoming mine even though I know it isn't. Evan tells me to lie down and rest, that he'll stay until I fall asleep. I nod, but I don't lie down. I keep watching the mirror from the corner of my eye, and just before Evan closes the curtains, I see it. Miralina turning her head away from me, like she's listening to something deeper inside the dark, something calling her back. When I wake up the next morning, Evan is gone. He left a note on my desk saying he had class but would check on me later. For a moment, everything feels normal. Sunlight comes through the blinds. The mirror is quiet. My phone is dead. But when I plug it in, it starts buzzing nonstop. Dozens of notifications. Dozens of videos. All of them tagged as drafts. All of them recorded while I was asleep. My hands shake as I open the first one. It shows me standing in the hallway outside my room, staring into the darkness, motionless. But I never left my bed. In another video, I'm in the kitchen, opening drawers silently like I'm searching for something. And in every clip, the mirror in the background shows a different version of me. Some smiling, some frowning, some watching from angles the camera never pointed at. My stomach turns. Something is documenting me from the inside out. I try to call Evan. But the moment I hit his name, the call drops. My phone glitches, freezing on the reflection of me in the black screen. Except it's not me. It's Mirror Lena, and she's smiling faintly like she's waiting for me to notice her. When the screen returns to normal, I slam the phone down and back away. I can't shake the feeling that something isn't just mimicking me anymore. It's studying me. The drafts keep playing in my mind, each one showing me in angles no camera should reach. I know I need to show Evan, but I'm terrified of what he'll say. Terrified he'll look at the videos and see something I don't. Or worse, not see the differences at all. Because then I'd know I'm the only one being replaced piece by piece, memory by memory. Or by the time Evan comes back, I've gathered every draft into a single folder, but I can barely look at them without my stomach twisting. I hand him the phone, and he scrolls in silence. His expression shifts slowly, from confusion to disbelief to something like fear he's trying to hide. When he finally speaks, his voice is low. He says the girl in the video isn't me. Not exact. Something is off in the way she carries herself, like she's lighter or heavier depending on the clip. He tries to laugh it off as an algorithm glitch or some weird TikTok effect, but he won't meet my eyes. And that scares me more than anything, because it means he sees it too. Something behind the mirror isn't copying anymore. It's practicing. Evan wants to test something. He positions the mirror so it faces the doorway and tells me to stand just out of sight. He wants to see if my reflection appears even when I'm not in front of it. I think it's stupid, but the look in his eyes tells me he needs the reassurance more than I do. I take a step back into the hallway while he crouches by the mirror. A few seconds pass. Then he whispers my name, quiet and uneasy. I step forward. And in the reflection I see it. Mirror Lena standing where I should be, facing directly toward Evan. Her eyes locked on him even though she shouldn't know he's there. Evan jerks back like he's been shocked. We both stare at the mirror, breathing hard, realizing at the same time that my reflection doesn't need me anymore to appear. Evan wants to leave. He says we need to get out of the room, get some air, clear our heads. But when he reaches for the doorknob, something inside me freezes. It feels like if I step away, the mirror will take the chance to do something I can't undo. I keep staring into it, waiting for Mirror Lena to move. She doesn't. She just stands there, watching us with a patience that feels older than anything I've ever known. Evan places a hand on my shoulder, telling me we'll figure this out. I nod, but my heart is racing, because even though my reflection is still, her shadow isn't. It shifts slowly, like it's breathing, and I realize the truth. She's not trapped behind the glass. She's preparing. We run downstairs, but every step feels heavier, like the house doesn't want us to leave. Evan keeps glancing behind us, even though he knows the mirror's upstairs. I'm trying not to panic, trying not to think about the shadow that moved on its own. We reach the kitchen, and the moment I catch my breath, I freeze. The window above the sink is dark, but not naturally dark. It's pitch black, like someone painted over it. I step closer and realize it's not paint. It's a reflection. The glass isn't showing the outside. It's showing my room, my mirror, and Mirror Lena is standing in it, staring directly at me from somewhere she shouldn't be able to reach. Evan grabs my wrist, pulling me back, but the reflection doesn't change. She tilts her head slowly, like she's learning how to follow me from glass to glass. And for the first time, I know she's no longer contained. Evan tells me we need to cover every reflective surface. He grabs a towel and throws it over the window, and for a moment, the darkness disappears. But I can still feel her there, like she's pressing her face against the other side of the fabric. We move through the house quickly, covering mirrors, shutting off screens, turning anything shiny face down. The more we cover, the more unsettled, The air feels like she's losing patience. When we reach the living room, Evan stops dead. The TV is off, but the black screen shows a faint glow. My stomach drops. In it, Miralina isn't in my room anymore. She's standing behind us in the living room, only a few feet away. Evan reaches to unplug the TV, but the reflection moves first, stepping closer in the screen before we've even made a sound. And that's when I understand. She's not escaping through the mirrors. She's following us through memory. Evan grabs my hand and pulls me into the hallway, but I stop when I feel the shift in the air. A pressure. A familiar warmth I don't want to recognize. I turn back toward the living room, and for a split second, everything looks wrong. The walls are brighter. The lamps are gone. There's sunlight where there shouldn't be. It's that hallway again, the one from the false memory. My breath catches as I watch the scene flicker like a dying signal, and then, for an instant, I see her. Miralina walking through that impossible hallway with calm, deliberate steps, like she's showing me the path she wants me to follow. Evan doesn't see it. He keeps pulling me forward, whispering that we just need to get outside, but I can't move. Because part of me remembers that hallway now, and that shouldn't be possible. We reach the front door, and Evan twists the lock, ready to step out. The moment he pulls the door open, cold air hits us, but something's off. The street outside is quiet, too quiet, like the whole neighborhood is frozen in place. The porch light flickers even though it's still daylight. Evan steps out first, checking both directions, calling my name softly to reassure me. But when I step toward the doorway, something catches my eye. The glass panel beside the door. It's faint, almost invisible in the daylight, but there she is. Miralina, except she's not behind us this time. She's outside, standing on the porch. Staring in. Her hands pressed to the glass like she's testing the boundary. My heart stops because this time, she isn't delayed. She moves the exact moment I do, perfectly synchronized. And that's when I realize she's no longer practicing. She's matching. Evan yanks me outside, slamming the door behind us, but the cold air feels heavier, not safer. The street is empty. No cars, no wind, no sound. Just a stillness that feels staged, like a set built for us alone. I try to breathe, but every inhale tastes wrong, like metal. Evan says we should go to his place, try to reset. But the moment he steps off the porch, I see movement in the window beside the door. Miralina. Not waiting. Running. Sprinting toward the glass like she wants to break through it. Except there's no sound. She's silent, like a video playing with the volume off. I stumble backward, grabbing Evan. But before I can speak, Miralina stops at the window and slowly lifts her hand. Not waving. Beckoning. And I realize she's not chasing us. She's inviting me back. We don't make it far down the street before Evan stops and turns back toward the house, breathing hard. He says he can't shake the feeling that she's watching us from every direction, like the mirrors aren't objects anymore. They're exits. I feel it too, that strange pull at the back of my mind, like someone is flipping through my memories and choosing which ones to keep. I tell Evan we need to destroy every reflective surface in the house. But he hesitates. He looks at me like he's afraid of what we'll see once we start breaking things. Still, he nods. We turn back toward the house, even though every instinct screams at me to run. When we enter, the rooms feel different. Too still, too clean, like the house is resetting itself. And the worst part is the silence. A quiet so deep, it feels like she's listening from inside the walls. The first mirror shatters easily. Evan swings a hammer and the glass breaks into a spray of sharp, glittering fragments that scatter across the floor. I expect relief. Instead, I feel a sudden pressure in my head, like a memory being tugged loose. We move through the house quickly, breaking every mirror we find. Each time the glass cracks, I feel something slip inside me, like small details of my own life are being rewritten. Evan tells me it's just adrenaline, but I know better. With each mirror destroyed, I lose tiny pieces of myself. A childhood memory blurs. A familiar scent feels distant. A face I once knew becomes hazy. And when we smash the bathroom mirror, I see it clearly for the first time. Mirrorlina isn't tied to the glass at all. She's tied to me. I'm the one who finds the video online. The original version of the memory game, posted years ago and taken down. The comments are disabled. The username is deleted. The thumbnail shows a dark hallway similar to the one I keep seeing in glimpses. Evan leans over my shoulder as I press play. The audio is the same humming tone, but this version has words layered underneath, whispered phrases I can barely understand. The girl in the video stares into the mirror, and then the camera pans to show her sleeping in bed at the same time. Two versions of her, one in the mirror, one outside. Evan pauses it and points to the reflection. It isn't the girl at all. It's something else wearing her shape. A warning curls through my spine. The trend wasn't meant to unlock memories. It was meant to copy them. We tear through the house, covering screens with blankets and turning every device face down. But the reflections keep appearing, on the dark oven door, on the glossy fridge handle, even in the tiny chrome curve of the faucet. Everywhere I look, Mirrorlina is there. Sometimes close, sometimes distant, always watching. Evan tries to tell me it's just my fear exaggerating everything, but he flinches each time he catches a glimpse too. Finally, we retreat to my bedroom and block the door with furniture. The room feels smaller than ever. My heartbeat pounds so loudly, I swear she can hear it. Then, without warning, every screen in the house lights up at once. The TV, the phone, the microwave display, each one showing the same image. Not my reflection. Not Mirrorlina standing. Mirrorlina walking toward my room. The lights flicker, and for a moment, the screens go dark. I brace myself for the silence, but instead, the audio from the memory game plays softly from somewhere inside the room. Evan spins around, searching for the source, but I already know where it's coming from. The mirror, not the broken ones. We destroyed all of those. The small shard on my dresser, the one piece we missed. I crawl toward it slowly as the humming deepens and the whispering grows clear. It's saying my name. Not chanting it, remembering it. And then the shard brightens, glowing like a doorway, no bigger than my palm. I see her inside. I see her inside. Mirrorlina, standing in that impossible hallway, reaching toward me. Her expression isn't angry. It's patient, like she's been waiting for me to find the last door. And part of me wonders if I was the one who left it open. Evan keeps telling me not to look at the shard again, but I can feel it glowing behind me, like a heartbeat that isn't mine. Every time I close my eyes, I see that hallway, brighter, clearer, closer. Evan tries to distract me by asking simple questions. My favorite food, my first pet, my hometown. But with each answer, a strange hollowness settles in my chest, like I'm reciting facts about someone else. When I try to remember the sound of my mother's voice, the memory glitches. It repeats. It stutters. I look at Evan, and for the first time his face feels unfamiliar, like a photograph I've seen too many times. I tell him something's wrong with me, but he shakes his head and insists it's all the mirrors. But deep down I know better. The memories aren't disappearing. They're being replaced. Evan tries to charge my phone to call for help, but the screen lights up before he even touches it. A video starts playing. I don't hit play. He doesn't either. It shows me sitting on the bed, looking terrified, except I'm not moving, not breathing, just staring straight ahead like a mannequin frozen mid-thought. Evan turns the phone over, but the video keeps playing on the back, reflected on the dark surface. When he finally shuts it off, I feel a sharp pain behind my eyes. Images flash. Moments I don't remember living, choices I don't remember making. Evan grabs my shoulders and tells me to look at him, but his voice sounds underwater. Something inside me is shifting, rewriting. And when I look in the mirror shard again, I swear Miralina looks more like me than I do. Evan wants to take me outside again, says fresh air might help clear my head. But when I stand up, the room tilts. Not like dizziness, like reality sliding an inch out of place. For a moment, the walls stretch, the ceiling darkens, and the air feels thick, like I'm standing inside a memory that isn't mine. Evan steadies me, but his hands feel too light, like they're slipping through something. I blink hard and the room snaps back, but the wrongness stays. I tell him something is rewriting me from the inside, but before he responds, we hear footsteps upstairs. Slow, careful, familiar. Evan squeezes my arm. I don't have to say it. We both know who it is. Miralina isn't in the shard anymore. She's walking through the house. The footsteps stop directly above us. The ceiling creaks softly like someone shifting their weight with purpose. Evan whispers that we need to leave, but I shake my head. I can feel something pulling at me, a strange familiarity, like a memory brushing against the inside of my skull. I walk toward the staircase before I even realize I'm moving. Evan calls my name, but it sounds distant. When I reach the bottom step, the house feels split between two worlds. The warm one I've always known and a brighter, wronger one bleeding in from the edges. I lift my foot to climb, and for a moment, I see her at the top of the stairs. Miralina. Standing perfectly still, her eyes soft, almost sympathetic. Like she's not coming to replace me, but to guide me. Evan pulls me back from the stairs, but something in me is already changing. My memories keep flickering. Whole moments I lived feel distant, while memories I shouldn't have are becoming sharp. I see myself standing in that impossible hallway, walking its length like I've done it 1,000 times. Evan shakes me, begging me to focus, but when I look at him, something inside me twists. His face ripples, flickers. In one blink, he's Evan. In the next, I don't know him at all. A stranger wearing his clothes. I stumble backward, gripping my head as the humming from the memory game grows louder. The walls pulse with it. The air vibrates with it. And when I open my eyes, Miralina isn't in the shard or the reflections anymore. She's standing beside me, right beside me. And this time, she moves first. The room feels split in two. The air around Evan heavy and real. The air around Miralina bright and hollow, like a memory stretched too thin. My heartbeat thunders, but my body doesn't feel like mine anymore. I take a step back, and she mirrors me perfectly, not with delay, but with intention. Evan shouts my name, begging me not to look at her, but I can't help it. Her eyes are soft, almost gentle, like she's offering relief instead of danger. She lifts her hand toward me, and I feel the echo of her movement inside my own bones, like my body is remembering something my mind hasn't caught up to. Evan tries to pull me away, but my legs move on their own, drawn to her like gravity. And in that moment, I realize she isn't trying to replace me. She's trying to bring me home, to the place I've already started becoming. Evan steps between us, blocking her from view, his voice shaking as he tells me to listen to him. But I can't. I look over his shoulder, and Miralina is still there, her expression unchanged, her hand still waiting. She mouths something, a single word I can't hear but somehow understand. Remember. The room pulses as the humming grows louder. Evan keeps talking, but his words blurred, drowning under the sound. My memories flicker. My birthday, my first bookshelf, my mother brushing my hair. And then suddenly, a memory that isn't mine overlays them. Walking down that impossible hallway, sun pouring through windows that don't exist here. It feels warm, familiar, mine. Evan grabs my face, forcing me to look at him, tears forming in his eyes. But when I blink for a split second, his face shifts into a stranger's, and I don't know which version is real anymore. The humming sound deepens until it feels like it's vibrating inside my ribs. Mirror Lena lowers her hand, and instead she steps closer, not toward me, but toward Evan. She moves with quiet certainty, her reflection gliding like the floor doesn't exist beneath her. Evan whips around, bracing himself, but she doesn't touch him. She simply stands there, studying his face with a curiosity that chills me. Then she looks at me again, and smiles. Not cruel, not threatening, just knowing, like she understands something I don't. The room flickers and suddenly I see two versions of myself, one next to Evan, shaking and lost, and another walking down that bright hallway with confidence. Two futures, two selves, and I can feel myself splitting, like a decision is being made without me. Evan begs me to choose him, but the humming whispers something else. Choose yourself. Something inside me snaps, not in fear, but in recognition. My memories keep flickering between two timelines, two lives, two versions of myself. Evan reaches for my hand, but it feels distant, like I'm wearing someone else's skin. Mirror Lena steps forward and places her hand against the mirror's inner surface. Light spills out from the glass, warm and golden, spilling across the room like dawn. And suddenly, I see it clearly. The hallway, the rooms, the life on the other side. It isn't a prison. It's a continuation. A version of me without the fear, without the blank spaces, without the fragile feeling of being half-formed. Evan calls my name again, voice cracking, begging me not to leave, but the truth hits me with a quiet clarity. Maybe I've already been leaving. Maybe the version he's holding on to is already fading. I step forward and the world shifts. Evan's grip slips from my hand like fog. Mirror Lena watches me with a gentle patience, stepping back to give me space. The humming grows softer, like a lullaby meant only for me. I glance over my shoulder at Evan, his face broken, his voice lost in the brightening air, and I try to hold on to the memory of him, but it's fading, slipping through my fingers like sand. I turn back toward the mirror, and the hallway stretches out before me, warm and endless. Mirror Lena nods once, a silent welcome. And when I take my final step, the room behind me dissolves into darkness. The last thing I hear is a whisper. My own voice, doubled, layered, overlapping. If your memories could be rewritten, how would you know which version of you deserved to stay?